Good morning, students. Today we're going to continue with our guiding question. How might a global pandemic present opportunities and possibilities to create a better society for all? Make sure you go over the PowerPoint I sent you all yesterday in the video in order to understand what we will be doing today. So we briefly talked about what does social distancing look like and what do you notice here? And I want you girls to record your observations on the Word document and tell me what is one thing you notice. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue where we left off yesterday. And we left off right here. So how many students will fit? How many students could stand on a football field or a basketball court and maintain proper social distancing? Switch it around to ask how large of space would be needed for all students in our class, for our school, and for our community. So if you look closely here at this classroom, as you can see, these students are not practicing social distancing. This student, her back is touching this desk here. So we need to think about later on, how are the future classrooms going to look like if they have to practice social distancing with being 6 feet apart. Okay, as you can see here, these students at a high school, they're very close to one another. They're not practicing social distancing either. Okay, this was before COVID-19. And then if you notice here, this basketball stadium right here, the court, as you can notice, the people are very close to one another and they are not practicing social distancing either. Okay, so these are some things we need to start thinking about once school does start up again. Okay, so how will the classroom look like with social distancing? So these are actual images for students in China. They're actually wearing headgear. So this is a pretty good idea. This might be at the elementary level. Okay, so they created their own headgear in order to practice social distancing. How many students could safely be in a middle school classroom? Again, yesterday we talked about disease prevention and guidelines are saying that you have to be 6 feet apart, okay, to maintain social distancing. Yesterday we talked about the schools in Georgia. This is mandated by the state. So depending on your grade level, this is a requirement of the minimum square footage. So from kindergarten to 3rd grade, the minimum square footage is 750 square feet. In grades 4 through 8, 660 square feet. And in high school, grades 9 through 12, 600 square feet. Okay, it's the minimum square footage in the classroom. Okay, so what are possible dimensions for a 660 square foot middle school classroom? Okay, so this is actually a question on your worksheet. And I briefly touched up on this question yesterday. So I know some of you all had questions about this. So we need to start thinking about the dimensions, our length and our width, okay? If the total area is 660 square feet. So what I decided to use, I'm using these two numbers, okay? The length being 30 feet and the width being 22 feet. Well, when you do 30 times 22, you get 660 feet squared. Okay, so each green dot represents a student. So this is how many students can fit if our length is 30 feet by 22 feet. So there's 3 here, 6, 9, 12, 15. So a total of 15 students can fit. So I created this on Paint. If you like, you can go ahead and create yours on Paint. You can use different platforms. I think there's also a drawing app. You can use that as well, okay? Just showing me how many students can fit in a room of 660 square feet. So starting here, we'll say this represents 0, and this is 6 feet. So one student or one desk can be placed here. Another 6 feet apart, another desk with a student, another 6 feet apart, okay, so forth. So this is if our length is 30 feet and our width is 22 feet. we could only have 3 desks or 3 students apart here, okay? So I want you to start thinking, what other numbers or dimensions can we use? Okay, what length and what width can we use in order to fit students in an area of 660 feet squared? Okay, so I'll give you some other ideas. Well, we can also use the numbers, you can see here, we can also use the numbers 10 and 66. So our length being 10 and our width being 66. Well, 10 times 66 is 600 feet squared. But that really wouldn't be logical. If you were to draw your classroom, okay, again, our length would be 10 feet and our width would be 66 feet. So again, each desk would have to be 6 feet apart. That would mean we can only place 1 desk, okay, up here, and then a total of 11 desks, okay. So I know I have a very small space, so I'd prefer to use paint, so you have a larger place to do your work, okay. That, or if you like, you can use another blank sheet of paper and you can do your drawing in a blank sheet of paper. That'll be fine, because I know this space here is very small. Okay, so in this case, if we use these dimensions, only 11 students can fit here. Okay, so think of other dimensions that you can use where your total area comes out to 660 feet squared, but just keep in mind social distancing. Each desk would have to be 6 feet apart. Okay, so I want you to continue this assignment and make sure you answer all of the questions. Again, if you have any questions, reach out to me and I can meet with you on Zoom. Okay, thank you for all your hard work and your efforts. Have a nice day.